and gentlemen, welcome to the main event.
Let's go.
Round one. Fight.
Thank you for tuning in to the Crypto Street Podcast. Here are your hosts, Killer Whale, Prince, and Crypto Dale.
And remember to tip your waitress.
What is up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in. Crypto Street Podcast. This is number 99. Folks, we are so close to 100 that it is within reach. Again, just a quick refresh. Episode 100 right around the corner will be next Wednesday, whatever date that is. I believe that's the 3rd of October. We will be live. Make sure you tune into that. This is Crypto Dale, working vigorously to get my Twitter back every day, all day, appealing left and right. Prince had to set up tonight's meetup with the one and only. We'll get to that quickly because of like Prince. I think you said it best today. Nobody
trusts your scam.
Yeah,
account.
everyone thinks I'm spam. My other account, my fan club account that I have people messaging, they think it's fake. It's not.
It's just a scammer.
Just a scammer. What's up, Prince? How you doing?
Just another scammer. I'm living. We had some hail out here today.
Jeez.
The snow is melting though. I did go outside with shorts on. Overall, I can't complain. Watching a little Bitcoin dump right now.
Yeah, today's the 24th. The evening of the 24th, and Prince was saying, he's kind of the guru of the TA between the three of us.
Oh, don't call me a guru, God.
Well, I'm just saying that compared to us too.
I hate that word.
So it's all good.
Don't ever use that again on me.
Killer, give us some upbeat weather report right now, since we just got done with Prince's depressing weather report.
Well, everybody, Bitcoin dump to the east is bringing cloudy skies to the area. We expect things to clear up shortly. Southeasterly wind at 20 miles an hour.
That's perfect. All. You sound just like it.
That's the end of it.
And boom goes the dynamite is all we were missing. Have you guys seen that clip?
No.
Okay, I'll send it to you after this. We'll move on. Tonight's guest, it's something that we met up with this guest out in Philadelphia at CryptoCoinCon. He's really a stand-up dude, really one of the best advocates for cryptocurrency. He lives the life that he preaches. That's why we wanted to have him on, because he's going to talk today, whenever you're listening, about the life he lives. We're not really touching much on the markets. We want to. Kenn Bosak is our guest, the man, the myth, the legend, the conference guru. What's up, Kenn?
How goes it? Hey, here to talk about Bitcoin and Bitcoin accessories, y'all.
Kenn, let's just, before we dive into your specialty of using crypto only day to day, basically, let's just give everyone a brief description of how you got into crypto, if you would.
Late 2015, I was trying to do some traditional investing and found nothing but roadblocks and barriers to entry into things that were, IPOs, stuff like that. I wanted to invest in Snapchat early. So when I found out all those borders to entry and stuff like that existed, I got a bit of a vendetta against that when I saw, Snapchat pop and then dump when I got in, when it went public, and I lost money on my first investment. So I looked at other things, and luckily a guy I got a job with where I used to work, but I no longer do thanks to Bitcoin, he was like, dude, you don't need an ID to invest and trade on Poloniex. And I was like, well, what's Poloniex? And he's like, it's for cryptocurrencies. And I was like, well, what the heck's cryptocurrencies? So it was like a continuous rabbit hole conversation I had. And honestly, that first day, I ended up opening a Coinbase account, buying a whole Bitcoin at like $420 or so. And around that price tag, actually. And I wrote an article the next day because I was so amazed at how easy it was. I wrote an article titled, I do not know what a Bitcoin is, but I own one. And from there, I just started learning more. I ran into people like Jack Tater and Tone Vase in person. I got some great life lessons early from those guys, like one-on-one conversations, learned a lot about dollar cost averaging, started getting my paychecks from my day job directly into Bitcoin through Bitwage and Uphold. So I was earning Bitcoin instead of buying it. It was a different feeling for sure. And then like I said, I met Tone and started doing a little bit of trading in 2016 and about into 17 and ended around December when we were in that bull run there. I kind of was like, all right, well, I'm done. Paid off some bills and now we're here chilling. I've been to about 30 conferences this year. I am the crypto roadie.
I love that.
So I've
hopping.
seen Charlie Lee at 4 conferences in the past 5 weeks.
Holy crap.
I feel like he's going to get a restraining order if I'm at the next one.
What was that like getting paid in crypto? Because I've always seen like jobs within crypto offering that. And when I first got involved, especially, I was like, who on earth would accept crypto as their salary? Like, were you crazy? Like, what was that like? Were you at all apprehensive about that?
I was used to not having any money at all. Like, I was really poor and broke all the damn time. So as soon as I had some money to play with, it was like all on black, bet, you know what I mean? Send it. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, I'm used to that part. So I don't know. I wasn't too worried about the volatility as much as I was upset that I couldn't really invest in other things. And I was on like the TD Ameritrade app and it was like $10 a trade and you were like 1% if you're lucky. And I'm like, if I don't have 10 grand, I ain't even going to make the trading fees. Like, what's this? Who's this for? Not for me. So I kind of opted out of that and took sort of more like a political stance and an investment stance. And so like the volatility, obviously from then till now was a great wave to ride. But yeah, I'm still all in. I don't carry US dollar. I don't hold my value in the US dollar. I don't want to be a part of that system. So even if I need stability, the closest stable coin I'd ever trust is the Steam dollar. It's only done accidentally very well for me in the past, not anything worse. If anybody remembers, it mooned to about $13 a coin, and I was using it as a bank account around that time. So I was like, whoa. I was like, all right, Steam, I'm all in.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that. Like, what is your life like now that, you don't carry any USD? How has, maybe since you've started doing that, how has this space evolved and gotten maybe a little easier for you? Just kind of talk about that in whole.
Oh, wow. Yeah, for sure. Easier. So I really started trying to do this in like 2017. I was using the Shift Payments card and all that. And that's really all you had at the time. And I still had problems with like, double charge. I'd use my card at a store and they would charge me twice and it would come out as crypto. And I'd be like, damn. And if crypto went up or down, like the charge back depended on the volatility. And I was like, well, I want my Bitcoin back. You suck. So there were still those issues. But I found very early on that there was a lot of platforms you could really utilize to earn. Like I save like 20 to 30% every time I use Amazon because I use purse.io. So if you use purse.io, you can like spend up to like 100 and something different coins, something like that. And yeah, so because I found that, I was really actually making money, spending money during the volatility. So, I mean, it really balanced out in the end. And more and more of those platforms started popping up. Rewards.com is one of the newer platforms. You can like spend Dash on like your flights and stuff, and you get your rewards token as a kickback. It's like their own currency. It's like these new cool things are popping up left and right. So it's getting actually a lot easier. As I said, I've been to over 30 conferences, and every single flight I've ever booked was with crypto. I've used cheapair.com like 100 times this year. I'm waiting for the sponsorship. They have to give it to me at some point. Like I figure like the moment I get Andreas to be like, oh, cheapair.com's a thing. When I see him in Vegas next week, they're going to be like, hey, Ken, your flights are on us. Like, because I can't stop using them. I mean, it's the best way to fly if that's all you have is crypto. But then, I mean, if you need to get cash, like if you're in a certain area, you could just join. I mean, I used to use local Bitcoins, but then they went KYC and that became a whole process. I'm not trying to like hide anything, but that's a process. So I don't really feel like doing that. So I'll join a local meetup if I'm traveling and I'll find a meetup happening near a conference. And then next thing you know, I can sell crypto at like a 5%, 10% market premium. So I could buy back my Bitcoin and kind of live off that 10% that I made on the sell.
I like that.
Like during bull runs though, are you ever spending crypto and you're like, what am I doing buying everything with crypto? Like, because I'm sure it's because the flip side, it being nice in a bear run is something I never really considered, but that's part of it too. But during a bull run, is that very strange or hard? Like to
Not
kind of wrap your head
really,
around?
because that's all I have, right? Like, I mean, everyone's like, "Oh, you're the 10,000 Bitcoin pizza guy." And I'm like, "Well, not really. He could have used fiat. I don't have any fiat. Like, the only way I earn crypto. So at this point, someone would have to hand me a $20 bill that had fiat in my hand. So I'm kind of used to it. Like, if I don't spend it, I don't eat. So I mean, I'm not really worried about it. But it did make me think a lot about like the way I value things. Like time, value, costs. Like that's going to cost me 2 weeks of my energy. Do I want to trade that many hours of life for this item or this thing or this event? So I do kind of look at it differently in that sense, but not in like a volatile value sense.
Yeah, well, I think that's a good way to think about things because, like, especially if somebody makes a lot of money in crypto, it's super easy for your like lifestyle costs to get like ramp up like crazy, like way quicker than your portfolio. You know,
Right.
That's for sure. Yeah, but I mean, luckily, I found a way to be like a speaker and represent different brands at different events. So I'm not really like making money. I'm sort of like breaking even after travel and stay, but then I have to spend money on like, my cannabis, my hotel or my food and stuff like that.
to live your kind of lifestyle, that's a really good trade-off, I'd say. To be like break because like you live a pretty fun life. I think a lot of people would, by most people's standards, I would say.
Oh, dude, I'm having a blast, dude. Please don't wake me up. I was just in the Mediterranean with John McAfee, Roger Revere, Tone Vays. I did a panel with the coolest dudes on this ship. It was 2.5 hour long panel. It was amazing. And I basically held them all hostage. I created the panel. It was just like, hey guys, when I get drunk and talk shit, we can record it. And they were down. It was awesome. And then from there, that was the beginning of my month, guys. Like from there, I went to Token Fest in Boston, got to talk to the SEC, FBI dudes were there, CIA, all these reps were there from different parts of the government. Then I flew right to the first Litecoin Summit in San Francisco. That was epic. I got to I got to wear the Litecoin costume and like jump out and surprise everybody and be like, you're all posers. I'm the only one here that uses crypto all the time. And it was awesome. It was really cool to do that at the Litecoin Summit. And then I flew directly from there to the second Nexus conference where they announced amazing partnerships with like Space Force and all these other like, epic partnerships that they're doing at Nexus. And then I flew from there to New York City at the Sex Expo by Chatterbait and got to talk a lot about cryptocurrencies because I was hanging out with the strokingtokens.com booth, and that's like a crypto adult platform. And now I'm here about to head to Canada.
Hey, you gotta come out west, man. Come out west sometime.
I'll throw it on the calendar, dude. Let's host up a meetup.
Yeah, man. Fucking go out to Vancouver or something. Beautiful.
Oh, dude, I love Vancouver. Decentral is the place to be during Dogecoin, man. Shout out to those guys. They were a really awesome hosts. Dogecoin was probably the most fun conference I've been to all year out of like all 30.
That was out in Van City?
Vancouver.
Yeah, that's dope. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, dude, it was awesome. We did like a scavenger hunt. It was like an 8-hour scavenger hunt, and I was on Jackson Palmer's team. I thought I had a shoe in for the win. We still friggin' lost.
Shameful. I love how you said one conference that you were like the CIA and the FBI was there. I think that would be a lot of people in crypto's idea of a nightmare conference. Like
Yeah, I think so too.
there were IRS representatives everywhere.
Yeah, IRS was there too. There was a lot of great government reps because, but like their take on it, like one of the reps, I think it was the dude from like the FBI or something, was like, yeah, it was a retired FBI agent. He was like, look, guys, if you're gonna do illegal things on the internet, just make sure you use a VPN. And then the lady to the right of him was like, you did not just say that. Oh, man, dude, it was hilarious because like they're like, we're not saying anything criminals don't already know. Basically, they were like, if people are going to use forks to stab people, restaurants are still going to have forks. We're not going to regulate forks. So, I mean, like that was kind of their take on it. And I like that they were, optimistic in that, like not trying to be all like, FUD and try to like, scare people away. Like, oh, it's just internet drug money. They were like, money's drug money, and one of them even said that on the stage at Token Fest. They were like, the US dollar is still the number one used currency for illegal activities. So that's why I liked it.
That's always my comeback to people when they're like, oh, you have Bitcoin, you're buying drugs. And I'm like, well, I mean, I could if I wanted to, but I don't. But do you know that the US dollar's, blah, 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 whatever the case may be? And that
You know how
kinda shuts
hard
them
it
up real
is for
quick.
me to buy weed with crypto? None of my dealers will take
Yeah.
it yet. It's hard, man.
I was gonna just say, like, myself out here. I remember asking one of the weed men, like, "You want to accept Bitcoin?" And this is back when like Bitcoin was, I'd say, around 2000 levels. And I'm like, yo, it could probably make you some money. Like, good investment. Is just like, dude, I don't want that stuff. Like, give me cash.
Oops.
It's like, all right, man. And now I'm looking back and I'm like, well, you're lost. Like,
I guess your gain too, right, Prince? Or else you'd be out a lot of Bitcoin.
oh, absolutely. Yeah. It's like at the time, you're thinking like, it's not going to go where it is. But
Ken, what are some things that you wish were, what are some of the hardest things with only using cryptocurrency?
Sometimes I don't have my hardware wallet readily available. I use the Ledger Blue and Ledger Nano S. I have a Trezor. So sometimes, like I'll have a specific amount of money in my software wallet on my phone, just like most people would have in their, leather wallet in their back pocket. So when I spend that money out on my smartphone, it is a little harder to top it up on the go. Sometimes I'll have to call my girlfriend and talk her through the hardware wallet setup, or I'll be running around trying to find a laptop I can trust to throw my hardware wallet in for a minute. So far, that has been like the toughest scenarios I've ever been in, where I've run out of some crypto in my software wallet. But not to promote or shill too hard, but I got that Cool Wallet S, and that thing's about to change my life. Like, that is a game changer for me. Definitely.
What is that thing about? Like, what is it? What makes it special?
It's a Bluetooth smart wallet, and it's basically the size of a credit card. It does have a battery. You have to make sure it is charged. So first world problems there. But once you use it, once it's all set up, you're good to go. You download the app on your phone. It's just like using a software wallet, but it's your hardware wallet interacts with your app through a Bluetooth. So you don't have to worry about wires, stuff like that. You just take it out of your wallet because it fits right in with your credit cards. You pair it with your phone. You transfer some money from your hardware wallet right to your software wallet, and you're good to go. So, me running around the world, stuff like that's really important.
Very interesting.
Yeah, I got a couple new wallets that are like that. I think I got like 4 or 5 wallets throughout my adventures in box somewhere over here. I've accumulated. They're like, "Oh, you have a YouTube channel? Here, shill this." And I'm like, I'll take your free stuff, but who knows? I smoke a lot. I forget people, it happens. But I have a bunch of those hardware wallets, but the coolest one is the Cool Wallet S. I don't know. I'm excited to use it. I can't wait to set it up because, like I said, I've been out and about, and like, it sucks when you have to transfer a flight, and you're like, babe, wake up, it's 2 a.m. I need you to send me money. I got to buy a flight out of here. I'm stranded in Barcelona.
do you ever use the like ATMs, the Bitcoin ATMs?
Oh man, yeah. So that's another nightmare, actually. So yeah, I have. All right. So if you think about like the transaction fees through like regular bank cards and stuff, it does add up. But the volatility and what an ATM values a Bitcoin at sucks, dude. So like earlier in New York City, the ATM I was going to use was $7,000 something. It was like $1,000 over market value. So I was sitting there thinking like, well, that sucks. Like, I don't even want to use this ATM. But then I've thought to myself, I've used ATMs that literally charged me like $25 to take money out. I mean, granted, it was in a strip club, but still, it was an ATM. It charged me $25 to take money out, and I damn well paid it. So I paid it to get my money out. I needed money. So I'm like, there is a market for this to grow more and have more of a competition in like the fees. And I like that I think that will be the self-regulation and like what people will be able to say Bitcoin costs at their machines. And that is happening. There's more and more Bitcoin ATMs everywhere. I was in Barcelona. They were everywhere. It was a little pricey, but I mean, I didn't have any problems. I didn't have to go to a bank and call and be like, "Hey man, my card isn't working. No, I didn't have to worry about any fraud protection kicking in. I just whipped out my software wallet, sent some Bitcoin to the machine, got some local, I think it was Euro, and I went to a dispensary, and it was an awesome, convenient experience. And I didn't have to worry about the banks like denying me access to my money. There's a couple of Bitcoin ATM machines that are doing a lot right now. Just in case you guys weren't aware, like Volt Logic and stuff, dude, they're like a BTM. I can pay my phone bill, pay all my Netflix. I could do all kinds of cool stuff. top up my Starbucks gift card, all with crypto at their BTM.
Out here in Canada, Bit National is wicked. It's more so out west still
I
right
met
now.
them.
Yeah, and they even have physical locations where, like, especially where I'm at, like out in Calgary, they got 2 locations.
That's where I met them. I met them in Calgary at the Bitcoin Rodeo.
Okay, yeah. And you can literally, you just walk in and it's like you're at a bank almost. You walk in, you sit down with a guy at a desk and you'll do your little withdrawal, sell it or buy it right there on the spot. And they're awesome, actually. I think out of all the ones that I've used, they are by far like my favorite. And
That's
they
so
usually
legit.
they keep the spreads pretty low so you're not getting screwed on fees too hard. And yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's been fun trying to convince businesses to accept crypto too, because like that's always my first thing, because it's like an obvious no. Like I love it. Like, hey, do you accept Bitcoin? And you're like, no. Like, what are you special? Like, you know what I mean? Like obviously we don't accept Bitcoin, dude. What are you crazy?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, well, no, I mean, it's all I have. And then I hand them my BitPay Visa sometimes, and they're like, what is this? And I'm like, well, it's like a Bitcoin Visa card. And they're like, what? You're about to spend Bitcoin? I'm like, well, you're about to. I'm spending it, but you're going to get whatever, Euro or CAD or wherever country I'm in at the time.
Yeah.
Like, you'll get your local currency, but me, I'm spending Bitcoin. And their eyes are just like, no way. Like,
mind blown. Yeah.
Magic. Yeah, totally. It's like I'm paying off my debt with like a deck of cards and say, pick one. Their eyes just light up.
Do you find like, do you have like a little spiel that you go through where it's like a 30-second commercial for Bitcoin or crypto, or like how do people respond to that?
Well, it depends who I'm talking to.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do have a few. It depends who I'm talking to, like my Uber drivers versus like the small businesses versus like investors, stuff like that. But yeah, I kind of have an elevator pitch for everybody at this point. Like the Uber drivers, it's like, you probably send money home like most, drivers do. And the answer is most of the time, yeah, I send money home at least once a week or bi-weekly. So I'm like, hey, what's the fee on that? And they're like, well, it's usually 10 to 20% depending. I'm like, well, that sucks. And they're like, yeah, well, Western Union kind of has a monopoly on that. And I'm like, well, you thought they did. And and then from there, I kind of tell them like, if your family member has, a ATM near them, all they have to do is go to that local ATM, put in the sell order, send you that Bitcoin address. You send it across the world to that Bitcoin ATM machine's receiving address. It'll spit out local money right to them. And it's faster, cheaper, and there's no KYC under like $2,000. So, I mean, that like usually turns people on in that sense to like see the ease of use. And we get into like the wallet stuff and show them like how easy it is to just send it through a wallet, even if they have a smartphone. And then from there, they have, like I said, the BitPay card. It's like so empowering to those people, like most people that are sending money around the world. And then to, like a lot of the other people, it depends like who I'm talking to again.
Ken, what are some roadblocks that you see maybe to make this, broader scheme of things more adaptable? There we go.
I guess creating the ecosystem, right? I mean, like everything seems to be at the point where it's as easy as it needs to be to use right now. Like, I don't think it needs to be any easier at this point. Everybody wants to, this to be easier. We need it to be more user friendly. I think it's pretty user friendly compared to the entire process it takes to set up a bank account, especially if you're a business, and all these payment channels, and then signing all these documents and not knowing what's insured and what's not. Like, that's a process that could afford to be a lot easier. This is as easy as downloading an app and writing down a private key. You're done.
I feel like it's something we take for granted too so much. It's
totally.
Like, the banking system in the West is usually quite a bit better even than, in other parts of the world. So it's like, there's a lot of people who really do not have any easy access.
Dude, I've been homeless, I've been jobless, and I've been through that whole scenario where like I didn't have an ID, so I couldn't get a job. Like they were like, fill out this, where's your ID? And I'm like, well, I don't have an ID. I'm homeless. My shit sucks right now. And they're like, well, you need an ID to get the job. And I was like, well, IDs cost money. So that's a bummer. Can't really do that. And then they were like, so where do you live? And I'm like, well, here, if you'll let me. So it's a really weird circle when you're in that, not just unbanked, but there's a big population out there that are unidentified, undocumented, where they don't even have the means to acquire a license. Like, to get a state ID, you need a residency. If you don't have a residency, how do you get a state ID? Without a state ID, how do you get a job? I've been there. I felt like a third world citizen in a first world country where I was like envious of all these people that I was like, oh, they're just lucky. Silver spoon, blah, blah. And I had a grudge against the world at that time. And I eventually got lucky. People helped me get out of the rut. And ended up working. And then from there, I was like, you know what? I should probably invest in stuff. And that's, like I said, I got into that whole scenario where I couldn't invest in Snapchat and got real mad.
and now you're here.
Yeah. I'm still mad. I'm so mad about that, man. I just wanted to be a part of that pump. I saw it. I was like, I'm going to invest in it early. They're talking about these stupid spectacles. No one's going to buy them. I'm going to dump this crap. And then I was a part of the dump. It sucked.
Well, I think everyone maybe has a better understanding now of how, you can possibly live your everyday life using cryptocurrency, Ken. So want to thank you for sharing your experience with us. I know everyone loves you on Twitter. It was a blast hanging out with you at CryptoCoinCon. Really cool dude. And I know a ton of people were coming up to you and asking you questions. And it was, I know I was standing next to you one time and someone came up and asked just a generic question, simple answer, and you went above and beyond, answering what they wanted to and really made sure that they understood it. So I think you're a great advocate for the space. So I just want to say, keep up what you're doing because it's pretty sweet.
Thanks, bro. I'm always worried I'm taking Bitcoin a step back every time I talk about it, but I appreciate the compliments, man. It definitely is encouraging. It is hard. It gets hard after a while seeing, amazing people like yourselves with this awesome podcast. And then I'm just like a dude out there shilling the awesomeness of Bitcoin like a Jehovah for the blockchain.
No, it's you're welcome at my front door anytime, Ken.
All right, man. I take that offer when I'm in town for the next conference.
Yeah, dude.
Thank you.
He's Kenn Bosak. Everyone check him out. I think it's at Kenneth Bosak on Twitter. So Ken, keep it up. Everyone loves you. Thanks for being on. Everyone, thanks for listening. Make sure, again, reminder, next Wednesday, is it the 3rd or the 4th? The 3rd, we're having our 100th episode. It'll be live on YouTube. We'll tweet the link out here shortly. For Killer Prince and myself, everyone, tip that waitress. Be nice. Let's get this thing going. Peace out.
Have a day.